Hello everybody. Today we'll be starting with the credit control process adopted by the central bank, the Reserve Bank of India. Among many other functions of central bank, the credit control function is considered to be the most important. The credit which is created by commercial banks is controlled by the central bank of a country. For India, its central bank is the RBI. Because by controlling it, we will be able to control or manage the inflationary and the deflationary pressures in the economy. There are two methods of credit control. Credit control, being an important function of RBI, adopts methods to expand or contract credit. Expand means increase, contract means decrease credit. Some of the methods are quantitative controls. They control and adjust the total quantity or volume of deposits created by commercial banks, because it is on those deposits that the commercial banks lend loans to the public. So if we control the deposits, we will be able to control the credit created by the commercial banks. Second one is the selective control method, since they control certain types of credit and not all types of credit. The selective credit control methods are also known as the qualitative controls. Then, under qualitative methods, we have bank rate, open market operations, variable cash reserve ratio, and statutory liquidity ratio. Under qualitative methods, we have rationing of credit, marginal requirements, regulation of consumer credit, controls through directives, publicity, moral suasion, and direct action. We first begin with the quantitative methods, which aim at controlling the total volume of the credit, quantity of credit. They regulate the quantity of credit created by the banks. The first quantitative method is the bank rate policy. Bank rate is the rate at which the central bank lends money to commercial banks. Okay, when commercial banks fall short of money, they borrow from the central bank and they have to pay interest to the central bank. That rate is known as the bank rate. Okay, now suppose the commercial bank has taken a loan of 10 lakh from a central bank, for which it has to pay central bank 8%. That same 10 lakh rupees, when the commercial bank lends to the customers, the commercial banks will charge more in order to earn profits. Say it charges 14%, thereby earning a profit of 6%. In case the bank rate increases from 8% to 9%, commercial bank also will increase their rate from 14% to 15%. When higher rates of interest will be charged, people will be ready to take lesser loans. Thus, credit creation will be affected. So, during inflation, when people have more money, when prices are rising because people have more money, the central bank raises the bank rate so that credit creation falls down. And during deflation, central bank lowers the bank rate so that credit creation can be increased. When the central bank or the RBI decreases the bank rate, it is a part of the cheap monetary policy, and this is done to control deflation. RBI decreases bank rate to increase the quantity of credit in the country. This is called cheap monetary policy. Decrease in the bank rate will lead to a decrease in the cost of credit, that is a decrease in the interest rate. So, quantity of credit will increase. And dear monetary policy means RBI increases the bank rate to decrease the quantity of credit in the country. As the bank rate increases, cost of credit, that is interest rate, will increase. So the people will be ready to take lesser loans. Quantity of credit will decrease. Moving on to the next one, open market operations, in which the government sells or buys securities and bills in the market. During inflation, the central bank will start selling securities in the market. People who have money and have deposited their money in the commercial bank will withdraw the money from the commercial bank and buy the market securities issued by the government. As a result, commercial banks will be left with less cash reserves. So they will be able to give lesser amount of loans and advances. But during deflation or recession, the central bank will buy the bills from the people or the commercial banks. So the commercial, and when people get back the money from the government, they will deposit it in the commercial bank. Commercial bank's cash reserve will increase and they will be able to give out more amount of loans. During inflation, the same thing. Central bank would sell government securities to commercial banks. The banks would transfer a part of their cash reserves to the central bank towards payment of these securities. Consequently, cash reserves will be reduced and there will be contraction in credit creation power of the commercial banks. But during deflation, the central bank will purchase the securities from the commercial bank. Okay, directly from the commercial banks or from the people. In this process, cash reserves with the commercial banks will increase and they would enable them to create more credit. The third one is the CRR, or the cash reserve ratio. Every bank is supposed to keep a particular percentage. Every scheduled bank has an obligation to maintain a certain portion of their demand and time deposits as reserve with the central bank. That means whatever deposits a bank has, a commercial bank, it has to keep a part of the money with the central bank. And that part of the money is known as cash reserve ratio or CRR. For instance, when the reserve requirement is 10%, a commercial bank will have to maintain a cash reserve of rupees 100 for every deposit of rupees 1000. Okay, that means if commercial bank has 1000 rupees with it, it has to maintain 10% reserve, that means 100 rupees, and hence it can lend out 900 rupees. If the cash reserve increases to 20%, banks will be able to lend 800 because it has to keep 200 as reserves. So higher the cash reserve, smaller will be the amount of loans given out by the commercial banks. The fourth quantitative method is known as the statutory liquidity ratio. In this, every bank is required by law to maintain a minimum balance with itself to meet its requirement of cash. Any person can come to withdraw the money from the bank. Okay, he may have made a fixed deposit account or a savings deposit account, but he can come to the bank to withdraw his money whenever he wants it. That amount of money is known as the statutory liquidity ratio. Then we